everyone, and here we go with another Pixelart tutorial. I'm Cecihoney, and we will continue with our setting artwork. From previous video, we did this basic part here using this basic line art to generate our perspective for the house. And as you can see, everything comes from those two escape points on the side. So this is our field of depth. You can see like the way here in the first is our field of depth. So we'll turn on off this layer and we start with a few interesting things here. So the first thing we will do is to color everything, to do some block or separation. So here we will use this color for the house. This is a lighter color for the house. For the brown we will have this darker brown. I will edit this later to better match. And over here our mission today is more like how we do apply like the shadows and colors and all the basic theories I've taught you in the first videos to actually make this house feels more like a house, feels more like a place, and not just like some random stuff. So it will have like some lightning, and we will have the colors set up properly, and hopefully it will all work out somehow. So here we go, like the steps here. So the first thing I'm doing is mostly how we separate the colors. I will do more shading later, but so far so good. This is like basic, just so everything has a proper color, everything has like a proper way of fitting in your artwork here. I will color this bush in the same way I'm coloring the background trees, and for the foreground tree and the brush that comes over here. So as you can see, I am painting almost everything in a single color. For the background trees, that's there and that's there. And for that brush over there, oh well, that's I forgot to actually add this. This is the correct color, and that. So yeah, over here I will add, and I will not paint the background sky for the time being, because we will make another background layer just to fill that in and to make everything more solid with it. But for the time being, this is our little house. This is where we will stack everything. So yeah, I will add a little window to the side. It's a closed window, yeah, but there's no one at home, so no one is bothered by the fact that there's I won't open the perspective layer to do this again. Yeah, I am using the angle of the other parts of the house as a measurement. Those measurements with backgrounds don't need to be perfect, they need to be good enough so you actually can feel they are okay. So that's important. That's like anatomy for body. You see that even great artists do some minor anatomy mistakes, and if it's minor enough that even other artists won't notice it, that's okay, because to get perfect anatomy sometimes you have to invest a lot of time, and you won't get that much time like if you're developing a game or if you're in a game jam or something like that. Let's pick this grass too, and that's where we talk about textures a bit. Textures aren't just inside objects, but they kinda work outside too, like over here. I am trying to add some grass. Of course, it's not relevant when it's far away. It's relevant when it's close by. So that's about it here. And don't need to do like every grass tip. Just some enough again, so when people look, it feels like there's grass there. That's not like plain or anything. So if you do this enough, you see that the result will be much better. That's the core thing. The core thing about pixel art is making sure that things give you a better impression, that things give your art better impression. It's not about making everything super realistic, perfect. You can do it, but you notice that pixel art is not so much about it. It's like doing photorealistic stuff in high resolution is not like what Pixelart's best for. It's something some people do for fun or to showcase how talented and awesome they are. It's pretty cool, but it's not everything. It's not like what everybody wants to do. So let's color our way here. And we will start with doing our pixels over here. So yeah, cool stuff, cool stuff. Now let's go for the cue. So as I said, from time to time I like to mess with the colors and come here and edit every color. I convert them to 3056 colors and do myself some cool editing, especially so I can pick more of my temporary colors from that default palette I use. So that's something that is helpful to me in this case, because I tend to go with a lot of temporary palettes. I don't like to spend time making a palette before I know what this palette will do or how it will better suit the art I'm doing. Let's go with some vibrant grass here, and you notice that I used some sort of green, bluish green for the background trees, and that's because our background will be more like blue, and that happens when things are far away. So that's another cool thing about backgrounds. It's that you can use the whole cold shadows I told you before. This kind of works for distance too. It's not just for darker stuff, it's for shading as well. So we want a few things done here. So the first thing will be taking care of this division, because it's just shadow, it's not like there is something drawn here. And let's use this to make some cool textures over and to add some shadows over here, like so. And yeah, the wood textures mostly like a bunch of, see, sliding things over here, and yeah, and the grass shall project a few shadows, like I talked about the projected shadow, and we'll see this a bit when I go back to the grass and I make the projected shadows of the trees and the house over the grass. As you can see, here we have some sort of shading over. I won't use too many colors here because I am trying to go simple, so I'm using two tone colors for the house and 3 tones for something else. I believe that should use more color than that. So as you can see, the house already feels a bit more complex. It already feels more like something you want to see built in. So yeah, that's about it. So you can see this wooden part of the house also has some texture now. wooden texture. It's kind of like there's boards, but it's a lighter wooden board. It's not like the same solid board used for the house structure to stand the time or everything. And over here we will use a bit more texture too, so this feels more like it. So yeah, this is our little house, and the shadows over the window, the closed window, it's a closed window again. Whoever lives in this house doesn't want to be bothered by visitors. They just want to stay home and stay isolated. Maybe it's the whole coronavirus deal. They don't want to catch the virus, so they stay shut in until they get the vaccine, hopefully, and they are there. It's just a witch and very like don't like visits kind of witch, which is totally fine. I mean, I do like visits. I'm a witch, but I do like visits, but it depends on the visits, on who it is, and especially if this person properly told me first, like, hey, I will visit you sometime, and not like, hello, I'm here, out of the blue. That's quite boring and irritating, because I like to be prepared for things. I don't like people coming out of nowhere with anything, really. So yeah. But anyways, here we go with the house, and it's a pretty house. Again, might be a witch house, who knows, but that's more like it. I don't know if you have noticed, but by the way I'm shading the house, the light source is to the left, straight to the left. I'm using left a lot for light source in these tutorials. It's more common for me unless I do have a specific instruction. Again, if you don't have like a client or some other demand from a game or a project, you can make the light source go from wherever you want, and maybe you find a pattern like I prefer the light source to come from a certain angle, and you will use that. As long as you understand that you can flip the image and it can be totally different, that's up to you. I will use this color here. Remember, when you're not building up a palette, the better you use your colors, the better. So as you can see, here we go. It's kind of I don't mind if I go over the line art. I don't care. Line art will be colored later. So just try to stay in the line art, because that's better for me to see things, but it's not like super low thing we need to follow. It's just there, and it's kind of like a straw roof, maybe, but not so crazy, just enough so you can see that the straw, and a few bits more like it here. And as you can see, we're starting to make something more deep here with shading and stuff, and this is building up to be a cool background, something like you can see, hey, there is light, there is stuff, there is a cool roof, there is a cool house, and so on. So let's pick this up and do this here. That's about it, like so. So yeah, we started to have our little house here, more like this. One thing I use, and this is from my technique, I like to use the darkest shading of something to be the line art, and vice versa. Like sometimes I'm doing line art and it shows the line art color as the darkest shadow. Since now I will teach you a different way to go about it, I won't use the exact same way I usually do. But as you can see, at least for the darker colors, it will work because I will darken the line art accordingly. So here we go with some wooden texture too. I won't be too spiffy with this texture, but that's enough. It's enough for what you need to know about this subject. And again, it's not about making a perfect setting, it's more about building up some cool house and explaining everything that you need to know about backgrounds and house and so on. So over here you can see how the house works, how the color works and everything. This is not so difficult. Here, that's the base. Now I will make an extra layer, and this is important. This layer is like our background or full background, and I will pass it behind. Now you see that everything there is blue. And with that layer, I will use this layer to make more details for our background. But those will be just silhouettes. If you see the ending of my channel, you'll see that this is how I made all those trees in the background. It feels like there is a lot going on, but actually it's just a background layer laid out to fill everything in. And we can go and have this fun thing here. And this everything here. So yeah, as you can see now, it's filled with more detail, but it's not too much detail. It's just like one trunk and a few leaves, but it's enough for people to see you have details in there. And I can use another kind of blue in there to give it a more bluish vibe, I suppose. And it didn't go as I expected because I didn't close everything up as I should. Suppose no, this part here is already covered, so yeah, let's go up here. And why is it a curve? So there we go. As you can see, this now makes things look a little bit more busier than the previous part I've made. So yeah, and we can do this for everything in the artwork. We can like have this and make it feel more like a closed-in forest design or piece, and it will be pretty cute once we finish it with this style. It will feel a bit more like, hey, it's a witch forest or something like that. Pretty cool. Now I will pick up this again and make some more of this brushes or bushes. I don't know how it goes. So yeah, and we do this overarching thing here just to make sure it paints just what I want it to paint. And I guess this part it's closed in and this part it's not closed in. Yeah, great. Now we can actually go with this, just a square of that color and some blue, and as you can see, my art, my design here is done, and I believe this will end up being a little bit longer video because of all the details. It's something I am doing that's quite detailed, but it's no way around it. If you want to detail settings, it's the way to go. I am even being quite simplistic here to compared to how I usually detail my stuff. And over here we'll start with some other coloring for the trees. So let's start with shading the trees. Oops, wrong layer. When it comes to trees, one thing I like to do is pick the standard thing and do some jittering, but it's not just hand-on jittering. I try to block, to make some slight blocks, like since the shadow comes from over there, I like to make it all some parts of the shadow to amount to the opposite section of the light. So it's kind of like the trees have a lot of small blocks of leaves because they are divided by the branches. So each branch ends up with a lot of leaves grouped, and each group of leaves kind of has their own shadows and so on. I may do something specifically for trees later on, but for the time being I am just doing a quick work of things so you know what to expect. Over here I can just like place it and paint it black because it will not be black once I finish everything, but it will almost be black. So over here, same stuff, and well, as you can see, that's a lot of trees, and the trees have their own textures and everything. Over here, this tree projects a shadow over, and that's one of the best examples of what I said once about projected shadows. It's when the shadows are projected from one object to the other, and that's about it. One other way I can use shading is sometimes I do open an extra layer and I make it transparent and I painted everything in a single color, usually black, and they make it transparent after that and so on. So yeah, over here we have like this background, not so complicated, not so bizarre, but it's a long video because of how much detail. As you can see, it's not perfect. Again, for make a whole video about trees, it's a long process to make the trees feel more solid and feel more like trees. But so far, this is good for us. This is good for you to understand how to create a good background composition with trees, with woods, and we'll kind of make this some texture to the road down there, and then color the grass and everything else, like the pathway and everything. So we're going up and we're going down. That's about it. So yeah, we can of course add a little sun up there like this. We can have like this sunny day. And yeah, now for a thing here, let's go with this three boxes. The one color. You can see as I'm doing fast, I do some minor mistakes, but one of the cool things I always say about pixel art is that as long as you keep your pixel art really, like when you don't use some filters or shading or keep everything separated into layers, you're almost guaranteed to fix any mistakes you do anyway, anywhere, and that's magic. That's what you want to do with your pixel art. That's the not right way to do, but the best way to approach is to have everything organized and pixelated, and with every pixel separated and moving on, because if you lose your control over the pixels, you not just that it's not pixel art, it's pure pixel art anymore. you lose your ability to fix things, and that's one of the most beautiful things about Pixelart. You really can go back and fix everything you did because, yeah, the other bad thing you can do is save it as JPEG for some mistake, and I done that to one art that I really liked, and it kinda screwed it up forever. My friend Joseph tried to rescue it with some filters or something, but it was through my mistake, and it well, I couldn't properly edit it in the way I wanted anymore, so it was like that, and it's bad enough that it was like that. It's not say the intended way I wanted for the art to be able to do some further fixes over it. So yeah, as you can see, forest is almost done, the first part, and we can actually add some light spots here and here and here and here, like to give us a better idea that these leaves are lit by sunlight, like they are bathed by the sunlight. That's the term I'm looking for. They aren't lit like it's like they are bathed by the sunlight. And that's about it. That's how this whole tree thing works. And a little bit here, that. So as you can see, the tree started looking more like a tree. And that's good. That's the effect we're looking for. And that's kind of the effect I'm going for with the grass. The grass I want to do the same. And now we will have the projected shadow of the house growing over the tree. But it's not a clear, as you can see, I didn't make this a super clear shadow like it's over the grass, so the shadow is kind of jagged, and it should be because of how the colors affect things. So yeah, here is the shadow of the house over the pathway. So the pathway is like that. And we will have like a lighter color design. Usually the colors I use for skin. And yeah, over here, like everything, and yeah, the pathway will be like this and this. That's about it. I will edit color, of course. This is not cool color for the pathway. It's just like placeholder color, as I've been doing with everything, using placeholder colors. And let's do just add some texture, so it kind of looks like dirt and not like something else. And over here too, like this is the lighter bit of the road, but at the same time it's not too light. And yeah, kind of cool. Let's look in this, and that's about it. That's about what we can do. So we also have this grass here working for us. Over there, I won't even detail the grass because it's starting to go off. But there is this shades, and that's about something important. Like the trees also project shadow below. So there is this part of the trees. Oops, there's a down thing there. And that's about it for the tree shadows. Yeah. So as you can see, our background's getting busier with how much we add those layers. I don't know if anyone is like following my tutorials in the actually doing exactly like that, or if you are just using the cheats. But either way, if you want to like send me some, hey, I did this using your tutorial, that would be cool. If I had people sending me stuff, I swear I'd make something like a video showcasing your work and saying, hey, look up what this and that person made, and maybe giving you some feedback. But so far, nobody sent me nothing like I've seen your channel and they did that, so I don't have much to do. There are the occasional people who send me stuff like, I did something and I need your feedback, but that's different stuff. It's not like I was studying your stuff and did this. This is more the point with the channel. Lastly, there is the big bush here. I didn't cater much to it, and I will do this differently from how I did everything before, because it's too close to us, so just going over with random between won't do much good, but there we have. It's perfect, no it's not perfect, but doing this fast enough so the video doesn't take one whole hour is kinda crazy, so I won't do it in this fashion. I will just speed it up and do it in the way that it should be done. So yeah, this is more or less how I do this. I usually use pair colors. We will work the colors soon, but over here I will add this grass. Let's see how it works. I'll maybe pick some lighter gray for completing this grass. That's about it. Let me see. This lighter green works. Yeah, it works. It will bring us some color grass designs here and here and maybe even there. As you can see, this works. This kind of works. Not perfect, but it's making our setting more cooler and slightly more realistic. So yeah, now we're talking. Now this is getting better and better and better. I say that better is always better, so cool. And now for the background leaves here, this is all that we can have, like making it some sort of filling in and doing all this stuff. As I said, that's cool. The more closer to the light things are, the more lighter they should be, and vice versa. And about it, let's just do some color editing and editing the making a separate layer for stuff in there. So yeah, we have a lot more colors to bring it out to editing. Now you can see that this color works much better, and this will be much more yellow because well, it's the pathway actually path. It's darker, it's darker. Okay, now you see our pathway looks a bit more better, a bit more cooler, and let's desaturate this green a bit so it works a bit more with our colors here. There's a bit more yellow there, and this green here will be a bit less prominent, and this will be a bit darker. Okay, it's too dark now. Come back, and that's about it. Like making this bit dead now. Yeah, and that's very dead blue. So as you can see, our background's looking much better. Today we forgot to add some light to this tree, and I'm going to add it now, like not so much but enough, like using the tree texture. Some things we do is try to follow things textures to add light, like the tree is from wood, so I'm going for some wooden texture, and that's about it. I don't know if it's too helpful to do things in this way for settings, but once I do tile sets, and I will do tile sets, you guys will understand how everything like forests or something like that. I don't know yet how I'm going to do this, but yeah, let's cut and move this to a new layer, and layer and paste. So I lock the transparent pixels, so we will pick, and that's the ending of the channel, that's the last part of the channel. Let me find the cool color. Yeah, that's about it. And I will pick this and we will start to paint this. As you can see, I am painting, and the contour colors painting over this because I locked the transparent pixels. So once you lock the transparent pixels of layer, it will only paint the pixels of that layer which are painted, in this case our line art. So everything in the house which has the black line art is basically turning into something different. Same goes for the trees, they are made of wood, so it's only natural. And this goes for the shadow on the tree as well, so we don't have like that heavy old school black shadow. I know some people do dig it, but that's not my style. I much prefer colored shadows, unless it's some like NES teamed game or something like that, like you are making the game to be like that. I don't agree. I don't think this is the best approach. So likewise, we will do the same for the green, and the green here will be everything greenish, and as you can see, it gives us a much lighter tone for everything that's green. Again, all the leaves and everything, they become more soft, like with this brush here. It will help us a lot because it's a lighter green. So yeah, I can pick up, and I will do something a little bit smart here. Let's pick up a color we already have for the grass here. And as you can see, everything here kind of fits. Like you can see, we kind of lost our contour here, and the house here is like this. So everything that's grass will be uh, contoured into this color, so it feels more soft and natural. Same goes over here. Oops, over here. The last bit should be this green here because it's a brush. So yeah, one bush. There is this color here, and I use this to color the trees there. And I just noticed that I haven't uh, painted one bush there. So once I get back to our regular layers, but so you can see we have like this color. I'm doing this super quick. Again, I think my most half hour into this video, and but this should be a long video again. This background. So if you wanted to do backgrounds, if you ask it, I hope you can see through this because this is like a complex topic. Like the structure isn't such a complex topic, but doing the finishing it is. There is no rushed way to do things like that. So we're almost done. I will just go back and color that brush that's left in there, and maybe add some little flowers because I think there should be flowers over here, and that's about it. So let's go with this. And to add some cute flowers here, I go like that, and that, and some yellowish flowers like this and that. I won't detail those flowers for now, they are quite small and we are about time. So yeah, we have a few flowers, we have a few things down there, we have a little house, and that's about it for our background like videos. I hope you enjoyed it, I hope it kind of helps you to have a way. As you can see, the light comes from up here and it baits the roof of the house, but it doesn't lit the front of the house, it just lights a little bit on the side of the house, but not everything. The main lit things are the things that are on top. I could have added more black pixels or dark pixels to the bottom of the picture, but I didn't. So that's it. Thanks for watching and see you again. Bye bye.